I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
All right, welcome to it. Another episode of Discover New Music. Joining me today is Rory Rodriguez of Dayseeker. Obviously, we're here to talk about the new album, Creature in the Black Night, drops October 24th. Very fitting, nice Halloween album for us. I know it's not themed that way, but I think it would definitely be a good one for this spooky time of year. Rory, let's talk about this because it's the band's sixth album. And obviously being very well received on a larger, I guess, more mainstream scale. Not that you guys haven't had some success before, but after six, which is really no small feat for any band. Hell, 1, 2 is no small feat. What's that feeling behind maybe getting that recognition or more of it that you guys have been working towards at this point with this new album?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty surreal the last few years because we didn't really start seeing any mainstream success, I think, until our fourth record came out, which was called Sleep Talk. And then it's just crazy because I feel like in 2022 we were headlining like 500 to 800 cap rooms in small clubs, and we were excited about that. And then last year we took a bigger swing and we did more like 2,000 to 4,000 caps, and it went super well. So it's definitely a trip, to feel like our name gets thrown around with some of the other like biggest rock bands in the world. So
right.
We'll take it, man. We appreciate everything. Yeah.
I'm sure. And, that kind of almost validation that, I know a lot of artists and, maybe you can attest to this, you're making music for you're making music for, your fans, but getting more fans and getting that bigger spread definitely feels good at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why like you do support tours every once in a while. It's like to try and put yourself in front of an audience who's never heard of you. And we've been lucky to support like Pierce the Veil, Beartooth, Ice Nine Kills. We got some stuff coming up with Motionless in White. So yeah, like I said, we're really lucky because I think we're at a point in our career that a lot of bands never really get to see, like they never make it out of their own hometown. So we're very lucky, man. Definitely.
Well, I love it, man. We're excited to have the new album again. Creature in the Black Night drops on the 24th of October. And it seems that this album, it's got kind of a central theme, which was intentional, or was that unintentional? Was that the plan from the beginning, or did that kind of just fall into place?
It kind of just happened, we really weren't planning for it to come out this way, but we split the record into two parts. So we recorded the first half of it a year ago, last September, and then we did the second half in February earlier this year. And it was just funny. I don't know. We did we had like 5 or 6 songs done for the record last September, and we were like, yeah, there's definitely this overarching theme of kind of like horror influence and kind of this spooky, eerie kind of leaning vibe. And so when we went to finish the second half of the record earlier this year, we kind of figured we would just lean into it, and it ended up kind of turning into like one cohesive piece. And it's funny because we had a song on the record that we actually took off because it was like kind of a dark synth pop track, and I feel like it would have worked super well on our last album. But it was funny when it was put together with all the other songs for the record, we were just like, this just doesn't fit. Like it feels out of place. Like it's not a bad song. It's just like, it just doesn't lock into this like concise kind of theme we have going with this like dark Reaper character and stuff. So I don't know. We leaned into it. This is definitely our darkest record I think we've ever put out. And it's crazy that it's going to be out in a couple of weeks. Pretty surreal.
It's funny how things fall into place and leaning into it and making something there that you see, that you feel. I thought that's interesting. You bring it up that you guys did half the record, took a little break from it, come back. Was that, I guess that's interesting because a lot of bands, let's get it done, let's rip it, or, we have this time, we're going to do it here. Did that kind of throw off the momentum? You get 5, 6 songs done, and then you're like, all right, well, let's take a little break. Was it hard to kind of pick back up and get going on the rest of the record?
I actually prefer it that way. We've done that like historically. I think our first three records we did it that way where we would lock ourselves in like a studio or a cabin for like 3 or 4 weeks and just kind of
Mhm.
hammer out 10 or 11 songs. And honestly, I feel like it gets really hard to stay creative and fresh on ideas
Right.
when you are like working on 10 or 11 songs like within such a short time frame. I think if anything, it was cool. It almost felt like we just did like two EPs and just kind of like push them together in a sense because I had a bunch of stuff written for the first half, and then when we finished the first half, I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of other ideas, and then having that like little 3 or 4 month break, I ended up writing a bunch of stuff at home, and then it was kind of cool. Yeah, I feel like it like reignited the spark, if anything. It's an
Huh.
interesting way to look at it, though. It's like maybe you lose momentum, but it was cool. No, I feel like, and it was good too, because I feel like if you came back after like a few months and you're like,
Mhm.
that song is still great. Like, I think it's a good sign. Like,
Right.
we don't need to fix anything versus like, I think this could be better. Like, we got to rework some stuff on the first half, but no, I think we'll always kind of do it that way.
Yeah.
We did it on our other two records
Yeah.
prior to this one as well. We kind of like split up the work, and I feel like it just makes it so everybody feels a little more, I don't know, like fresh on ideas and a little
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
burnt out at the end of the day.
That's really interesting, and yeah, when you look at it that way, it's you, especially in that creative space, and you're putting so much into it. It's not like you're doing a gardening project. No, you are being creative, and that can, I think, be very draining emotionally, physically, spiritually, in that sense. So that's an interesting take. Kind of hitting the reset button, coming back, and also too with still knowing, okay, that song is those songs were great. We don't got to do anything. That's good. Let's power forward. So, very cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad I got to get a peek into the creative process with that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your producer, Daniel Braunstein, who you've worked for or with before, and then also Zach Cervini. And these guys bring a lot of good, both very strong resumes to it. Talk about working with Daniel again, and then also having Zach in there, and what that brings into the sound you guys were looking for at the end.
Yeah, Daniel has been with us since we did our first record with him in like 2019. And he's become just a very good friend of mine in the band. And he really does feel like our, like, kind of like a secret fifth member. Because you work with like some producers where it does feel like, and it's no disrespect to anybody we've worked with before, but just some producers, it feels like they're there just to kind of like, what did you bring me? What did you write? I will hit
Mhm.
record, and then like this is your album. And I feel like Dan is like kind of it's like he's so invested in it, like he is a member of the band where it's like I'll show him something I've written. Like we had this song Shapeshift that came out, and I had a different chorus written, and he like, and it wasn't bad, and he totally could have just left it how it was. And
Mhm.
he came to me like the day after we laid down the chorus, and he was like, he's like, it's just missing something, and I think we need to rewrite a part of it. And that's what I like about him is that he'll challenge us in kind of a friendly way, but he's always very honest. Like I wrote the chorus of Pale Moonlight, and I showed him that, and he was just like, it's amazing, and we tracked it how it is, and so it feels like he's invested. And he just has a really good idea of like different synth choices, different soundscapes to kind of create like a mood and an atmosphere to the music.
Mhm.
So I really do feel like we owe a lot of our success and a lot of our career to Dan because I feel like our records wouldn't sound the same if we went to somebody else. And then,
Right.
I mean, Zach Cervini is just like the best guy to mix rock. It feels like right now everybody's going to him, and I know some people are like, oh, like another Zach Cervini mix. But I mean, we sent him, our album to mix, and he sent it back, and it was like sometimes you'll get it back and you're like, oh, this sounds kind of weird or this and that. And you have to go back and forth like over email for a while. And most things that Zach sent, I'd be like, sounds pretty great. All right. Like it was very small change. It was just, and
Yeah.
he's one of the only mixing engineers we've sent our stuff to where he almost nailed it, like without any notes from the band. So
Yeah.
we feel,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're two powerhouse people in the rock scene. So we're lucky to have them.
Well, I think as listeners, we're lucky to have him on there too, because putting that final touch or those invested touches into something that people already love and just taking it to that next level, I know is something that the fans really appreciate as well. And we will get that on Creature in the Black Knight, which drops October 24th. Do you got a favorite track on the record, or maybe one that speaks to you more than the rest?
Um, that's a tough one. There's a song called Cemetery Blues on the record that I think is very cool. We almost picked it for a single. It was funny. I'm not trying to like toot our own horn, but it was interesting finishing this record and feeling that out of the 11 songs, there were 8 or 9 that could have been singles because we really liked them. But Cemetery Blues is kind of like I thought it was going to be kind of a piano ballad because I wrote it in my living room on my keyboard, and then it I don't know, it turned into this weird hyper pop, kind of like Death Cab for Cutie sort of vibe. But then it goes like into this big metal bridge and outro, and it's like a super weird song, but I feel like it's like very cool. I think it's a really cool color on the record.
I
Yeah,
love it, man. I love it. Well, we can't wait to hear it and hear more, and just piece this whole final new album together on the 24th. And this actually kind of leads into my last question in breaking down this album and talking about it and getting ready for the release. You have an interesting, or I saw this where you said your band makes sad rock. That's how that's how you describe it to newcomers in the Dayseeker world. I just interviewed Joe Cotella of Dead, and he said they make negative music for positive people, which I think is kind of in the same vein.
sure.
Sad rock. Could you maybe give us your version or layout of what sad rock is? Because I think it's such an interesting way to describe the sound.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was more leaning into our older music. Because yeah, I mean, I feel like our older stuff was more rooted in like really heavy emotional content,
Mhm.
and it feels like it's funny. It's just it became kind of like not a meme, but kind of a thing where fans would tell us like, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but they'd say like, I feel very comfortable and going to your shows and just like crying my eyes out
Mm.
because like this song means a lot to me or this and that. And so it's funny. We actually just printed a shirt. I've been wanting to make it for a long time, and the back of it just says, I went to a Dayseeker or it says I cried at a Dayseeker show and all I got was this T-shirt. And But I don't know. It's funny. I feel like our new music is a little it's a little less, I think, self-indulgent in like
Mm.
melancholy themes and sadness. I think it still has a like an emotional vibe to it, but I feel like it's less like you're gonna slit your wrist, listening to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
album, and it's more just like I think if you just appreciate like good rock music, you can appreciate the record because it's funny. I At least when it's like if we get an Uber driver and they're like, "Oh, like what does your band sound like?" and you can tell they have no idea like who like a Bad Omens or Sleep Token is. We go
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's kind of like Linkin Park without the rapping in it." Maybe that's like the best way we can describe it to somebody. But yeah, it's sad rock. I've definitely said sad rock before. I feel like the new music, it's a little different, but it's
Yeah.
still probably leaning in that arena for sure.
So maybe this album you can put the cyanide and razor blades away. You'll be all right for this one, man.
I
Just
think
on this
so.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey, man, really excited for you guys. 6 albums in, and just there's been a lot of work put into it, and it's cool to see everyone really latching onto this after some very hard work. So, Creature in the Black Knight drops October 24th from Dayseeker. Put it on your calendars. Go get it. Be a perfect thing to play at your Halloween party there. I think it'll be fit in that mood perfectly. All right. Well, Rory, now that the important stuff's out of the way, I do this with everyone. It's called Rapid Fire. We're going to get to know you just a little bit more. There's no wrong answers. Just go with your gut, okay? Let's start
Sure.
simple. Sneakers or sandals?
Sneakers all day.
Billy Ocean or Billy Idol?
Billy Ocean.
Big go with the Billy. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Another music one. Vanilla Ice or Ice Cube?
Ice Cube. Yeah.
All right.
Ice Cube.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that you thought about that a little bit more. That I feel like you gave a little credit there to Vanilla Ice on that one, just a little.
Yeah. That one stumped me for a second.
Choco Taco or Flintstone Push Pop?
Flintstone Push Pop.
Attaboy. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Bigfoot.
Now, here's another. I always ask this too. Follow up with a Bigfoot answer because you guys spend a lot of time on the road driving, especially late at night. Have you ever felt like you've had a Bigfoot encounter, or at least close to?
No, just a lot of close calls hitting deer and almost dying on the freeway. But no Bigfoots.
No hairy three-dimensional beast. I got you. That's fair. Last one. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Well, I'll take one horse-sized duck. I feel like I think 100 would get kind of overwhelming. Yeah.
After you kicked like 30 of them, you're just going to be exhausted and then they're going to take over.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in my 30s. I don't have the stamina to keep up with that.
Yeah, maybe the horse-sized duck will just be quick. It'll just be quick. Or you throw a loaf of bread, you'll be all right. I love it. Thank you for humoring me, more importantly. Rory, thanks for talking new music, man. Again, Dayseeker drops Creature in the Black Night, October 24th. Excited to see more from you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate your time.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.